Hello, my awesome community. Thanks for being here, whether you're here for the live or for the replay. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you like what you see. That would be absolutely terrific. And today is my very different lives from my Wednesday. Wednesdays are my catch up and chit chats. And today it's the Pea Brain Show. And I have explained many times why it's called the Pea Brain Show. If you're new and you want to know, then ask me in the comments and I'll quite happily go through it all again for you. Okay, so we're going to start today on our different mini segments of different themes. And the first theme I'm going to do today is let's take a look at a book I took from my book nook. Let's take a look at a book I took from my book nook. And this is where I pick a random book that isn't a novel from my bookshelf and share it with you. Hey, Blue. Blue. Oh, it's the same word. I still can't say it because it's two different spellings. Blue. Blue. Hi, how are you? Okay, so the first book today we have is Gods, Men and Monsters from Greek Myths. And this is really a great book. It goes through literally all of them, and it's one of those books you have to keep rereading because you forget who was who and what's what. I believe there is a family tree in here, if I remember rightly. Now, we have, first of all, just a few of them in the front. And obviously this helps me with my Greek a lot because Ilios is sun in Greek language. And it's very interesting. To be honest, I didn't know very much about these. I knew the obvious ones. A lot of us grow up with hearing about some of the basic people. But this goes into the whole who's who. And as I say, it is a family tree of it. So it goes, I mean, we all know Pandora, we've got Pan, just lots of different ones here. And it's really interesting. As I say, I have to go back through it every now and then because I forget the connections of some of them. So the first gods were Hera and Zeus. And it starts with them and then works through. Oh, here we go. I knew there was a family tree somewhere. So I don't know how clearly you can see that, but you've got the whole family tree going on of all the Greek gods. And if you don't believe in it or have other beliefs, then you just take them as stories and they're very interesting. They remind me a lot of Aesop's fables. They've all got meaning and cause and what happens if they did certain things they shouldn't have done. So I enjoy them like that as well. Hey there, we got Cuckoo Cottage in the house, got Crubby the Beagle in. Hi guys. Cuckoo Cottage said, I just popped in to say hi as I was got to go. It's lashing down here now. Have a wonderful live. Much love, guys. Thank you so much. Just popping in means the world to me. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Crubby the Beagle. Any more bird tricks going on with the budgie? Yeah, I was saying the other day about icons. I can't see a lot of the icons. So when I go on people's channels, I can see what the icons actually are. And I was saying how Old Car Junkie reminds me of Santa. Bless him. I love his icon. And I was saying, when you can't see very well, Crubby the Beagle, try it, guys. Sit right back and look. It looks like Father Christmas or Santa Claus or whatever you want to call him. Obviously, it's Crubby the Beagle, but sit right back. Don't you think that could look like Santa? No, it's just me then. So, yeah, you got Hades and all about all what happened, why things became as the world we know them because of their actions and consequence. Poseidon, There's some lovely drawings in here as well. That's a nice one. Lovely illustrations. Oh, that's really good. So even if you just like the book for the art, it's a pretty cool book. Oh, this one, look, this is fabulous. If you're learning to draw and you like to try and get inspiration from things or try and copy, that's almost 3D. Look over the bird's head at the rock. That looks pretty 3D to me. That is pretty cool. I like that. It's really cool. If you're just tuning in, I'm just sharing one of my books with you that I like to do on a Monday. Aphrodite, obviously, Aphrodite came from Cyprus. And although these are Greek myths, a lot of them stem from Cyprus rather than Greece. So if you know where Aphrodite supposedly came from the sea, that's just down the road from me, where she came out of the sea. Oh, this is a lovely illustration as well. There, that's beautiful. Look at that. It'd be great to be able to draw like that. I've always said two things I'd really like to be able to do, and anyone can do anything, they just need to practice. Yes, there's natural talent, but you can become better at something by doing, and I don't do these two things enough. Is to draw, just draw anything in perfect detail. I think that's an amazing skill to have. And play an instrument, just pick it up and play by ear. They're two things I really find amazing to be able to do. So yes, I could be better if I put time into things. But I appreciate it. It's beautiful. Some really nice drawings. Chariots of the Sun. That's really nice. So yeah, a lot of these stories interlink as well, so they have their own story, but and I'm hoping I always put, no, if you're still on, I can still hear you, still see you. So I tell you what that is, that's when the bots are trying to come in, and I've set up Dawn set up a trap today. Dawn set up a trap, so that's probably what the flashing coming was. Oh yeah, look at these are amazing pictures. Really good. There's some black and white ones, there's some maps as well. So yeah, really nice maps of tracks and things like that. I think that's why I like where I live here, because I like geocaching, and never come across or found that has some of the tracks in my area. Amazing pictures. Really great. I'm not showing them all, obviously. We'll be here all day. It's a decent sized book. I just thought I'd share the art with you, because I know I have a lot of art and crafts people like my channel. So I thought I'd share some of the art in this book. As I say, it's an amazing read. There's some detail in that. Always be interested. Really nice, like that picture. Looking through some black and white sketch pictures as well. Again, very detailed. And I'm pretty sure this covers all of the Greek gods in here. Pretty sure. I think it's the whole, what do you call it? The whole series. The whole thing. All of it. All of it. I was going to say log, but it's not even a log. Oh, I hope Anne pops on, because I've got to, that reminds me I need to thank Anne personally. She's always got my back, bless her. She helps Dawn out, as does Blue, when I get my words all confused. So Blue's great at that, but Anne really got me out of a pickle the other day. Stopped me making a right goof of myself. Yeah. then perhaps I could do a series of these stories on one of my channels if you're interested in stories. Last picture, I'm going to leave it there, of this book. That is amazing. So beautiful, the pictures. Yes, so that book here, really good read. Yeah, you've got the author there and the illustrator. So yeah, really great illustrator there. That's awesome. Okay, let's go on to my next section. Today we're going to go with knacks, hacks, facts and stats. And I hear that a lot of you like this little mini section. I cover all sorts of different hacks, so maybe one day there'll be something of use to you within. So I've just got 5 random ones today, and I've tried to kind of link it into the season. Most of us are towards our summer or in our summer. Don't worry, Aussies, I've got one for you next. And this is about straw sun hats. Always as a dancer, if you had a little like catch in them and you were frightened they were going to run to make a ladder, then dancers always put a bit of clear nail varnish around the little catch, and that also stops tights running for an emergency. Now for the Aussie summer, which is actually now their winter, if you're at home during the day, fill a large flask with boiling water at breakfast time, and then you'll have hot water for drinks without boiling the kettle for the day. So you'll need your hot drinks. And guys, it's as important to keep hydrated in winter like you do in summer. Yes, you need more in the summer, but some people forget to drink in the winter because they're not necessarily thirsty. Talking of thirsty, Coca-Cola. Where's my brand deal? As I said, I don't mind Dr. Pepper. Send me Dr. Pepper brand. That will suit me just fine. Tip number 3. This is if you've got children and they do a lot of crafts with paints and their paints dry up and then you just have to throw them away. They go nasty. They just get hard and you can't do a lot with them. You can add lots of water, but then they just become a watery mess. So if the paint box becomes hard, put a drop or 2 of glycerine on each square or circle. Close the lid and leave for a few hours. The paint then becomes almost like new. I think that's a fab tip because sometimes children get their paints out, use them, put them away, not use them for months, and then get them out and they're literally not usable. So I thought that was a really great tip if you've got children or grandchildren, or hey, you just paint yourself. If we're readers, and I will have an update on the library that I'm opening up, I'm dropping the word library because I think that confuses people that they have to return the books. So I'm going to give you an update on my library, not library, that I'm opening, and I have chosen the name for it, what I'm going to call it. So check Wednesday live, Dawn. Check on my Wednesday live and I'll tell you then. So this is for my readers out there. A corner cut from a used envelope, just slip it over the last page you read of a book and it makes an excellent bookmark. So if you're out and about and you've forgotten your bookmark, if you take a book to read in, say, a waiting room and you've forgotten your bookmark, some people have an old letter or you've picked up your post, cut a corner from the envelope and that will make a temporary bookmark. And the last tip for today, a simple present when you just don't know what to give someone. Buy them some notelets or some note paper and envelopes, but put a stamp on each envelope. That's particularly good for disabled people or old people or people with not much money, that they would, like I was, like to write or send things to people, but they either can't get out or can't really afford the stamps. So that's my last tip today. And the bit you all love so much. It's joke time. Monday Fun Day. Monday Fun Day. Jokes, quotes, puns and fun. And we're sticking with the jokes for now, because I believe they're rather popular. Get a pencil because I have to tick off what ones I've told you, or I should keep having the same jokes. What do you call a fish with no eyes? What do you call a fish with no eyes? A fish. A fish. It's still a fish. Fish with no eyes is a fish. Just scrolling here, a little message has popped up for me. Okay, fair enough. If you didn't know, guys, I've actually got a video coming out Wednesday. That's the next day I post on this channel. And I've given you some tips and things on YouTube. Some things you'll know if you're not new to YouTube, but there might be information in there that suits you. And on that, I explain how they're using my channel as an experimental channel. So I have completely different layouts to most of you, and they send me little messages here and there, and all sorts of things occur. But I talk about that briefly there. Next joke. What do you call a can opener that doesn't work? What do you call a can opener that doesn't work? A can't opener. A can't opener. Can opener. Can't opener. That's me. Can't opener. I can't open things. I'm useless. I've got one of those. The thing I've found best for me is it's just like a rubber mat. It's very small and round, about that size, and it's a rubber sort of like a coaster, but it's flexible rubber. And you just put that on, slightly turn, because I can't really grip and turn, and that works wonders. 9 times out of 10 that works for me. So that's pretty cool. That's the best thing I've found to use to open cans. What do you guys use for like little aids and things like that? Jars. Mike's just saying jars. Jars. Dawn's got a bad head today. Everything's going to go wrong with what I say, more than usual. But there we go. Life goes on. Joke number 3. There are 3 types of people in this world. Those that can count and those that can't. Do you like that one? There are 3 different types of people in this world. Those that can count and those that can't. Did you hear about that famous Italian chef who died? He passed away. He passed away. Passed away. Let's do one more joke for today. So I'll write down where I am. Done it up to there. 2 muffins were sitting in an oven. One turned to the other and said, "Wow, it's getting pretty hot in here." And the other said, "Wow, a talking muffin." That's my kind of joke. Oh dear. Okay, let's move along. I don't think I'll be on too long today because, as I say, I'm brain dead, absolutely brain dead today. It's a struggle. So let's move on to my section. I don't think we've done this one for a few weeks. It's all Greek to me. And I always remind you, this is Cyprus. It is not a Greek island. This is the flag of Cyprus. This is the flag of Greece, another country entirely. So it's all Greek to me. What are we talking about today? Well, me and Mike, our wedding anniversary is on Saturday. So I thought it was very appropriate to talk to you about the customs of weddings in Cyprus. Now, we had a wedding in Cyprus and I had half the Cypriot traditions. I picked the best of those. And half of the English traditions, picked the best of those, because we had Cypriot friends that we'd made come to the wedding, and we had English people, and they liked seeing both sides. So I'll read this first and then I'll tell you a bit about our wedding, what we did. Let me just put the light on because my eyes. There. Can you see me better now? Maybe. I might be able to read better. There we go. A wedding is a time of great feasting, sometimes for 2 or 3 days. I did that bit. In Western Cyprus, a huge copper cauldron is placed over a wood fire and resi is prepared. This is a tasty concoction of cracked wheat and lots of pork and lamb, which are slowly cooked until the meat falls off the bones. These are removed and it is cooked and stirred again until it turns into a glutinous porridge-like substance in which a spoon will stand up. On the day, traditional music plays as the barber shaves the groom before his kumbari, his best man, dress him in his wedding suit. The bride is dressed by her attendants, and in the meantime, the village women bring out the bridal mattress for the priest to bless before they attach small crosses of red ribbon to each corner. To ensure that the firstborn child is male, a small boy is rolled across the mattress. The women then pick up the mattress and dance it around the courtyard to the accompaniment of a fiddler. The mothers of the couple fold clean sheets into a cross over the mattress and dance it around again before throwing money at it. The church bell rings as the fiddler leads the groom with his father and with all his kumbari through the village to the church. The bride is accompanied by her attendants and preceded by 2 children carrying large candles and others carrying 2 circlets that will be placed on the heads of the bride and groom during the service. After the ceremony, the couple lines up with their parents to greet the guests and offer them traditional sweet almond cakes or sugared almonds. The fiddler plays as the bride and groom perform a swaying bridal dance, while everyone, starting with the parents, pins money to their clothes. An evening of eating, drinking and dancing follows. So that's how they did it in Western Cyprus. The traditions that we followed was the weddings that we'd been to here, the Cypriot weddings. And one of the things we got married in a Cypriot chapel, a really small, quaint one. I'll have to do some photos and put them up. So I might actually mess around with StreamYard with that, actually, because I want to go on StreamYard and I've done some messing about and I want to see what works and what doesn't on there, as in showing things and whatever else. Anyhow, so the thing we did was after the wedding, the guests line up to greet you as a husband and wife and pin money on the bride's wedding dress. I really wanted that because to me that was a main Cyprus tradition and that's what the Cypriot guest would expect to do. And I just wanted to see the wedding dress with, obviously it's all notes, with all the notes all pinned to the dress, and I loved that. That was probably my favourite part of the whole thing because it was something for me so different, and I really felt part of the Cypriot experience. So that was how we did it. I didn't want a wedding cake. I think I've talked about this before, because traditionally in England, if elsewhere I don't know, but in England you're supposed to keep the top tea out of the cake, and that's supposed to be used for a christening. Obviously my children all grown up and got their own children, and so I didn't want to do that. So I said, no, I don't want a wedding cake. And we did other Cypriot things instead. And on the day, this wedding cake suddenly appeared. Okay, well, what's this? I didn't ask for that. And the wedding planner, I planned it, but she organised it. So I said what I wanted, and she booked it all and everything. Most of it we did flowers and things like that decided on, but she did a lot of the organising and that side of things. And she said, don't worry, you haven't got to pay for the wedding cake, but she said, I know you're English and I know that is a big thing for an English wedding. I thought perhaps you'd forgotten about that. So I just got one in, but I said, no, I didn't want one. She said, you don't have to pay for it. She said, do you want me to remove it? But it's all paid for. Said, no, they can have it. But that wasn't my wedding cake. That was just on offer. It wasn't like old-fashioned English wedding cake, which is traditionally 3 tiers, basically. It's more what I would say like a modern English wedding cake, which can be any old thing at all, basically. And it was just like 2 tiers, like a round and then another round on top of it. So to me, it didn't look like a proper wedding cake anyway. And yeah, I don't even remember eating that, to be honest. We had so much food and stuff. And then the evening was on it's like a pier, but not an English pier. Yeah, I'm going to have to do the pictures, I think, and try and go on StreamYard and put those up at some point. So do look out for that. So yes, it's our wedding anniversary on Saturday. We will be doing something for that, and I'll report back to you. Okay, on to my next section. Inspiration and creation. And this can be anything at all that might inspire you, or arts, anything at all. I have been sharing some of my paintings with you today, my trial paintings that I did a long time ago. I thought I'd dig out some things that were different, drawings and that kind of thing, and to show you how even if you can't draw a single thing, you can be creative. So I got these weren't glitter. These are just out of a children's colouring book. So they're just black outlines, black and white outlines. I cut them out. I stuck them on fancy hologram card, because you know I love hologram. And then I used glitter glue sticks and just followed the lines. So you can brighten up, say, a children's room or whatever you like. If you're very creative, you could find some of these adult colouring books that are a lot more intricate and do it with that. You could come up with some really, like, say, dragon designs and really fancy, intricate designs with nothing other than a bit of a steady hand. That's why I did this for therapy, to practice coordination, because what is here, I see it as being over here. So things such as this is actually quite difficult for me. But this was in the old days when I only just started having problems. So it's pretty neat. Not sure I could do that now. So there's an idea for you. Find a really intricate colouring book, the adult colouring books. Cut out your favourite bit, or you do the whole poster. You could frame it and put a nice background. Or as I say, this is just a bit of card hologram, which really adds to it. And that's a good idea for a simple craft. Children can do it as well. They'll probably love to do it. They might want to colour it all in, or stick shapes on and stars and decorate. And it's also quite an easy option for much younger children as well. Not so much the glue and the glitter, but cut out a simple shape such as a balloon like this, and they can just decorate it, things like that. There's some ideas there. Here's another one. As I say, you might want to colour it all in between as well, or do like mosaic, just cut little bits of paper and make it like mosaic. That's quite interesting to add. So you could do mosaic with paper, even sticky back paper or normal paper. It's a good way to use up old paper, or paper from wrapping paper, gift paper. If you've got stencils, you might want to stencil designs on. So you do not need to be able to draw to make art. And this one, I quite like this one. Oh, I did there. See how they can become quite intricate if you fill them all in. I quite like that one. And I've said before, when you do art or you just like a picture out of a magazine, get one big photo frame or an old second-hand picture from Dollar Tree. Some of you have in your country. We don't have things like that here. Or a charity shop or boot sale or market, whatever you have, garage sale. Get a frame, make your own colour background, so you could have a big sheet of colour card or something, and then keep putting different pictures in, or different photos, or something you've made, or as I say, a picture out of a magazine that inspires you, and every month or so change it. So just because you've got a picture doesn't mean it has to be your only picture. Yeah, I think he's pretty cool. And if you can see here, these are just little squares of silver, and the rest are, I think the in-between bit was like glue and then sprinkle on the glitter, and then some of them are glitter glue pens. The edges are probably glitter glue pens, the lines. So yeah, I love that one actually. That's quite nice. And now I've got all little silver squares and the keys. So there's that one. I've got two more different things. Again, I like stencils. So here's just something I did. And I cut out the shape of it. It's just old cardboard. Cut out the shape of a photo frame. Drew a shape round to make it look like a photo frame. Or you could even cut out a shape if you've got stencils where you can cut out a shape and then stick it on to make it a frame, just by making some stencil shapes around the edges and then drawing something in the middle. Or you could stick a picture in, but make your own little frames. Look, it's just old cardboard, nothing special. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could paint that or cover it, or cover this with fabric and then put something on. If you do cross stitch or embroidery and you don't know what to do with it, make a really nice frame and then stick it on and then give it to a friend so they've got a little picture. But obviously make this better if you're doing it for a little gift. And that is postable. If you made some art or craft, anything you can make. Or even when you send them a birthday card, why not make something like that instead? And then they might keep it afterwards. I often find if you spend hours making a really beautiful embroidery card or something like that, and then you think, oh, I hope they don't just throw it away. But if you make a stand for it, then they might keep that. So rather than have it as a card, they can have it as a picture and then just write on the back, happy birthday or whatever. So there's another craft idea for you. And the last art thing I have that I found that was a bit different. I'm showing you simple things that might look effective. As you can see here, it's a little bit 3D. I just drew around my hand in pencil, and then you draw lines up to what you've drawn around, so my hand, then you just draw a little lump over it, along, up, along. So anything that's not what you've drawn round, you need the straight lines, and anything you've drawn round, go up and over and continue the straight line. So keep the ruler on the page, because or else your lines won't join up. This was only a rough go to sort of see what the effect would be like. So hold your ruler there, but then jump up and over to get to the next bit. And you could make really different things. You could make it more than 3Ds, because you could have different aspects of things behind this and in front of it. You could make it really interesting, or you could have different things within the picture, different colours. So one thing might be green, one thing might be red, rather than multicoloured as I've done there. So have a go at that. Again, it's something children might be able to have a go at as well, something you could do together. It's not as difficult as it might look, and as I say, you can experiment with it. So do have a go at something else if you like to have a go at art. I like art and craft, but I'm not very good at it at all. So I like to try and find things that's simple. Okay, let me just have a drink, then we'll go on to my next section, what to watch in your coffee break. Now, my last episode last Monday, we talked a lot about Peter Dell's channel. Do go and check out Peter Dell. If you haven't got a link for it, just type in the name Peter and then DEL. And I was talking about the amazing videos he had. And I've always said before, it's not about shouting out a channel. It's about telling you a specific video that I found inspiring or funny or little hacks, maybe even. Can be anything at all. Just something for you to sit down and watch in your coffee break. But I said about Peter Dell's channel, I just couldn't find one particular one, because they are pretty outstanding. And this has happened again today. I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you, and I wasn't sure. I've tried to sort of keep off YouTube a little bit with my head, and didn't quite manage to keep off it as much as I wanted to or needed to. It doesn't cause me problems, but it's not going to help, let's say that. So I thought, well, hold on, what have I just been watching? And the channel is linked below in the description. It says what to watch on coffee break, or video to watch on coffee break. And then it's got the link there, but I can type, I might be able to bring that up now for you, wait. And you'll see a video I'm putting out on Wednesday. I talk about how I make videos and how I can bring things up pretty quick for you. Let me see, did I put it in here? Oh no, I didn't put it in there. I could bring it up pretty quick for you if only I remember where I put it. Yes, look, I can bring up the link here. Let me bring the link up in here as well as in the bottom. So I have a Word doc. I just went in the wrong Word doc. Went in a Word doc, copy paste and shove it down here. Put a little at symbol in there. So the channel to go to is called Someplace or Another. Someplace is all as one word, and Brian has the channel. He's awesome. He really is. The places he takes you are really different, really different. I've watched several in the last few days. You've got a cavern you can drive through. These are the ones I've been watching the last few days, Brian. I don't comment on all of them, because a lot of the time we're watching them on Mike's laptop of an evening, we're eating dinner or something like that, so we're not going to keep getting up and doing things there. The one I've just watched last, I think, was the Vintage Cars and Vehicles Museum, and it's got more than just cars. If you're someone, I'm not so bothered about cars, it's more than that, it really is. The RV Hall of Fame and Museum. It's not just car videos. Old Trains and Model Trains. Oh, that might have been the one I watched last. Old Trains and Model Trains. In England, they have model villages. I've talked about model villages before. You can walk round them. They're probably size of dolls' houses, that kind of size normally. And you can walk around the villages, and they have little characters, like when you get a model train set, but bigger. So the characters, the people, are about that big maybe. And the thing about the English model villages was you had to look out. It doesn't tell you what to look for, but there'd be funny things happening in the villages. So I was explaining to someone recently, for example, there'd be a butcher's shop where you buy your meat, and a dog might be running out the shop with sausages. Or there might be a window cleaner with his ladder up, and he's looking in a window, and in the window you can see something funny happening, and he's falling off his ladder like, ah. So lots of funny little things happening. And in some place or another's video, this Old Trains and Model Trains, they had some different things happening as well. And he had a man on a sit-on tractor, a ride-on tractor, going round and round and round, and a hot air balloon flying along. So there were things to look at. So it wasn't just trains as well. Yeah, as I say, it's very different places of interest to go to. And he showed one video was the Filbert Steps, which goes to the Coit Tower. Don't know if any of you know that. And you just keep going up and up and up. And there's houses on all levels, like roads, streets, and it just goes up and up and up and up. So that's cool. The world's largest small appliances museum and Superman museum. So it's quite varied, as I say, that channel. It's not a case of it's just cars. There's a lot of car and vehicle ones. There's old bridges and, as I say, just lots of places of interest. I can't remember the name of it. One of the first videos I watched of his, and then he went back, I think, some years later and refilmed it because it was different and he couldn't get in the first time, but he could film sort of from the road of it. And I can't remember what it's called. Oh, Mr. Colin Waffles has come. Don't you type. He's on my lap. He is. Don't do that. He likes to tap the keys. Yeah, it was, I think it was a man's plot of land, and he'd made trees, but the trees were, what were the trees made of? They were all metal. I think they were like, you know, the old drying racks that they used to have in medieval times outside of places, and they'd dry all sorts of things on them. And then as time went by, they used them as bottle dryers. They're like a tree, and they got spiked out in bottles. And this guy must have collected thousands and thousands of bottles. It was like walking through a forest. I can't remember what that one was called. I'm sure if you go on Brian's channel and just say, Dawn's talk about these bottle trees, what video is it? I can't remember the name of the place. It was so long ago. And yeah, that was amazing. It was like walking through a forest of bottle trees. There's other things there as well, like old bits and pieces. I think there's like old bikes there and all sorts of things. But do check out Brian's channel. Again, it's a channel I feel there is something for everybody. So there's that. So that's what to watch on your coffee break. Mr. Waffles wants to say hello. And if you want to know why he's called Mr. Colin Waffles, there are plenty videos on it. One or two are from my perspective of why he was called that. And then I think it's on my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, which again is linked below. I do cat diaries. Sometimes they're on this channel and some cat diaries are on the other channel. And it's the cats talking about his arrival. And that one is called Who is Colleen? Who is Colleen? Because he was Colleen. But long story. There's that. Okay, let's go on to the next section. This is Blast from the Past. Dawn loves talking about the 70s particularly. If you want to talk to me about the 70s, I can go on forever. Get your tail off the keys now. He's cleaning them. Yeah, I'll talk about the 70s till the cows come home. I love the 70s. Absolutely. For me, best time ever. And that links rather well with pastimes. So anything that we did to pass the time in past times. So it links these two segments up because me and Mike were talking about this the other day. I don't know where it came from. Things just spring into my head. And I thought that would be a good theme for now, talking about what foods were traditionally in restaurants in the 70s and 80s, more to the 70s, end of the 70s, when food from different countries was quite a new thing in England. And what sort of foods were there for you guys in other countries? Was it a case of the same few things in restaurants? Did you have more cultural restaurants? Could you go to different types of restaurants? And this is in the days in England before there was takeaways. So it was the concept of you could only buy things to eat, food. You couldn't just pop into a takeaway or a McDonald's at any time of the day. That was a pretty strange thing to suddenly have those appear. So I will talk about what was available in England, and you guys in the comments let me know what sort of foods were commonly in restaurants. Now, in the late 70s and early 80s, mostly the starters would be things like prawn cocktail, melon. And I said to Mike the other day, don't you think that's a pretty weird thing now that you would buy melon to eat in a restaurant? That's like pretty weird that you would buy melon when you go out to eat in the restaurant. Other starters, soup. Now, there wasn't such a big choice of soup. Mostly there would be tomato, chicken, vegetable. You wouldn't have much choice, as in lots of flavours of soup. Other starters was there? Don't think there was much more. As I say, you go in and this would really be all there was. Is there any more stuff? Oh, pate. That would have come out later. But pate, I do like pate. I like you get like duck and garlic with brandy and stuff like that. I like that for pate. Yeah, pate would have been later. I think that was probably the main choices. Main meals, chicken. I'd say half a chicken, steak, chicken steak. We couldn't remember if you could have fish. You might have been able to have a type of fish. Again, there won't be lots on the menu. Fish. Can't remember what other mains there would be. We really couldn't remember. There wouldn't be anything like exotic or different, or, as I say, no foreign foods per se. There's a few started creeping in. I think that was it. Probably was a couple more things, but I can't think what they would have been. And desserts would be ice cream, which would be one blob of vanilla mostly. You could have Knickerbocker glory if you was really pushing the boat out and paying for extravagance. You could have banana split, which is, I think you all know, banana cut in half long ways and then ice cream and cream and normally a cherry. A sherry trifle, that was very popular in England. Did anyone else have that in their countries? Sherry trifle. I don't think you had fruit or fruit salad. There might have been fruit salad. Oh, grapefruit was a starter. You could have grapefruit for a starter. I don't think there was like cheese. There wouldn't have been even cheese balls as a selection. That came in later. Mike said apple pie. You'd probably have apple pie with custard, probably. Custard. Not so much with ice cream or cream. I think that was probably it. Oh, and later, when exotic foods started creeping in, rhubarber. Do you know what rhubarber is? Oh, that was disgusting. That was absolutely disgusting. And you didn't really have lots of choice of wine. There wouldn't really been a wine list unless you went somewhere really highbrow. It would be Matches Rosé. Matches Rosé. Blue Nun was the white wine. I don't know about red. Matches Rosé was the obviously rosé. Blue Nun. There was another one that everyone had, and that was kind of, if you weighed wine, that was really what you got. And then salad bar, that didn't open up for, well, that was much more mid to late 80s, a salad bar. And that was like, oh, wow, you could actually go and get a salad and everything. So crazy how things has come on. And as I say, there was no takeaways. You had fish and chip shops, but you had to wait till the evening, whatever time the frying started. So you had the fish and chip shops, but you couldn't just go out and eat any time of the day. Even bakers would be shut at certain hours. So I think they would open for like lunchtime and then they'd close and things like that. Wednesday, there was no shops open in the afternoon. Tell me if anyone in England, there's still any smaller areas where you don't have shops open on a Wednesday afternoon. That was a big no-no. So I just thought it was a little bit of interest. We randomly talk of these things. So do share in the comments below what foods, particularly if you went to restaurants, and we're talking mediocre, normal restaurants, we're not talking elite restaurants, what the regular things were that you had on the menu there. Okay, let's do the last section for today because my head is really pounding. We have sow, grow, mow, and ho, ho, ho. This is my little gardening section, always with some gardening tips for you. Quick ways to get rid of weeds I've written down. I make notes. This is, you see me reading things. This is my notes. I like try and put things. I suddenly think, oh yeah, there's this way and that way, and I've got all random things. I'm trying to actually write them all down, log them together, and then do them as big tips. So as I think of something, I try and add them to my list. So I can do sort of, maybe I'll do one video of all one type of tip, who knows. Quick ways to get rid of weeds. Number 1, build a compost heap completely over them. So if you've got a really bad weedy area, put your compost heap there. There's obviously good nutrients in the ground there that the weeds are absolutely loving, or possibly there's a deep water source there that you're not aware of, but for some reason they love that area. So that's the place for your compost area. And then what you can do is move that compost to the next patch of weeds and grow vegetables where that compost area was, leaving the bottom bit of the compost because that is your best piece of compost. We talked about compost heaps last week, so do go back and check last Monday's live, because I've given you tips on an actual compost. Number 2, build a raised bed over the weed areas. So if you've got really terrible weeds, some of these real weeds that just bore down and move along, then that's what you need to do. Just cover them over with something. Number 3, grow a patch of potatoes over them, for the same reason I gave. First of all, that this is obviously a very good thriving area for such things as potatoes. So this would be a great place to grow potatoes. Ash mothers most weeds that can't be controlled. As we spoke about last week, don't use coal ash. So don't use coal ash. Next tip, check you're only removing bad grasses and bad weeds. Don't be in such a rush to get rid of anything that isn't something you grow. There's so many beneficial weeds out there, beneficial plants that bring in pollinators, so many weeds you can eat. So check with someone of knowledge in your region, and do make sure that what you think is something you can eat is not similar to something you can not eat. I've done a great video on black nightshade and all its very toxic poisonous cousins, but the one that I show in my video, you can eat the blackberries and how to identify that. So do check that one out. That would be in a playlist called something about wildflowers or something like that. Where are we? Mulch heavily, and any weeds coming through the mulch will then be easy to pull out, because they've had to work so hard to get through that their roots aren't so good anymore, so you can pull those out. Don't allow bad weeds to go to seed. So even what my sister does, when you get those grass heads, you know, with the, like, we call them Britney Spears. Britney Spears. And they've got those speary grass heads, haven't they, that just get stuck on your clothes and everything. What she does, if she hasn't got time to go and dig up all those grassy areas and that, she just pulls all the heads off and gets rid of them. So at least they can't seed. So don't allow anything bad to go to seed. I know sometimes we're busy and we go, oh, I'll get to that, I'll get to that. You need to get to that. Bad weeds that do seed and you really don't want, they do need to be a priority. As I've already said, educate yourself on the many weeds you can eat in your area via a specialist in the subject. And as I say, make sure it's someone of your area. It's no good me telling you what weeds you can eat. You might have a slightly different weed and think, oh, that's it. I remember seeing that on Todd's channel. We have different things that might look similar. So make sure it's someone at least from your country, but definitely from your region. And I think that is sometimes something that's worth paying for a course, or to pay for someone to come and check things out for you, because there's so many things there that people are just wasting. It's like throwing food away. It really is. And I did tell the story before. One of our guests here, he was actually a chef, and he actually liked to cook from foraging. And it was a time of year, we don't just cut everything down, as in grasses and seeds and things, weeds and things. So it was quite grassy. It looks a mess of theirs, but as long as I explain to people, we leave this and we leave some of it to go to hay and straw and whatever else. And we do use a lot of the weeds and so on and so forth. And we want a lot of the weeds to flower, so it brings pollinators in. And he said, if I could go around and pick everything, could I make a meal for us all out of it? So obviously I went round with him and he identified some things, and he's like, wow, I wish I lived here. He said, this is just a culinary kitchen growing for nothing out the ground, all the weeds. So it is worth check it out. I need to do more on that. I know a lot of the more basic stuff. I have done a video on making coffee out of dandelion roots, the actual roots. And while we're talking about this as well, don't forget a lot of the vegetables you grow. A lot of people don't know or forget to eat the leaves. And we know a lot of the leaves we can eat. If you think lettuce is leaves anyway, why are you eating roots, as in, I don't know, let's say beetroot? You're eating the root. Carrot, you're eating the root. Why aren't you eating the growth? So yes, beetroot, you can eat the leaves. Radish, you can eat the leaves. Carrot, you can eat the leaves. A lot of people don't know squash and zucchinis, you can eat the leaves. I've covered all this in a video. If you are interested and you want the link, I can put that up for you. And it's going through a lot of the leaves that you may not know you can eat. Kohlrabi, you can eat the leaves of that. That's a wonderful vegetable. And I did, I think it's even on the Eating the Leaves video, where I do a taste test on the purple and the white kohlrabi. And I say with those, they do taste a bit different. I explain what the taste is on those. But I like growing different colour things. It just makes the garden look pretty, because if you don't know, kohlrabi grows above the ground. So imagine something a bit turnipy, but it's above the ground rather than growing in the ground. So do try something new today. Do experiment and see what else you can grow. Have a little go. There's plenty of us out there that will give you help and advice. Oh, and my final tip for today, if your country is having a heat wave, go on a channel such as mine, where we grow constantly in the temperatures that other countries are saying is their heat wave. We will give you advice. We will tell you what will continue to grow and how we deal with them. So do contact a channel in a hot country that deals with your heat wave temperatures as a permanent summer temperature. And we have a heat wave here which is above that at the moment. So yeah, do look at the right things. Yes, it's great to look at channels in your region and your country, but for me, I like to be diverse. So I'm looking at channels in other countries to get different ways of doing things and to look at different things I could learn to grow. So thanks all of you out there who put out videos. Very helpful. Great to have a community. And let's all go out there and grow something different today. What then, Dawn, are you growing different today? Today I have just been out and I've planted that my last workaways gave me some seeds of cat grass. And I finally got around to planting those. I planted them in 2 different pots outside, and always grow things in more than one place, never just grow in one place. And then I can see if one doesn't come up, the other one might. So cat grass is new for me today. What are you going to grow new? Until next time, Mara.